the preceding generations. That is, sadly, let me be very honest with you. That is, I rather find a conspicuous absence of reading habit amidst all of you. You are smarter than us. Every parent would admit that his child or her child is smarter than them. No doubt about it. But there is one conspicuous lapse in the present generation, a glaring one. You don't read. There could be some exceptions here, but by and large, sadly speaking, the present generation, however energetic they may be, you are very energetic, you are exceptionally motivated, but you have to cultivate the reading habit. Our generation has, by and large, again, there could be exceptions here and there, our generation had. Let me tell you, our civilization is built by great readers, whether it is Abraham Lincoln, whether it is Buddha, whether it is Gandhi, all of them were passionate readers. Gandhi would read at least 4 to 5 hours a day. And it is also true of Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, and he is rightly called the architect of modern India. And he was a great reader, and every one of you here should read his Discovery of India. And there was another genius belonging to the same period, Ambedkar, who is the architect of Indian Constitution. Remember, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar could have walked into any department of politics and economics in Harvard or Oxford or Cambridge. He was a profound scholar, a great academician, and a great reader, an avid reader. And he was well versed in Pali, English, German, and of course, to some extent, Sanskrit too. And Dr. Ramanohar Lohia, every Goan fondly remembers his contribution to Goa's freedom struggle. Lohia, again, a profound scholar. I call upon every youngster here to read his book, Interval During Politics, a beautiful book, a beautiful collection of essays. So, and in the history, in our history, there are many achievers of what you call father-son duo. Many. Father is an achiever, and son is also an achiever. Here, I would give you the example of two persons, or a father-son duo, who hail from Goa. They are Dharmanand Kosambi and Damodar Kosambi. Again, reading, their passion for reading was their middle name. Dharmanand Kosambi, he came from humble agricultural family, but he moved across India. He went to Sri Lanka, Nepal, and emerged as a profound Buddhist scholar. And way back in 1930, he wrote a book titled Bharatiya Samskriti. And then his illustrious son, Damodar Dharmanand Kosambi, D.D. Kosambi, a profound Marxist scholar. So these people, they should be our guiding force. If you go to London Museum Library, there is one corner. London Museum Library in London, there is one corner, there is a chair there. Nobody dares to sit on that chair. Why do you know? Because for 40 or 50 long years, one great gentleman, he was sitting there in the 19th century. And he studied there from morning 8 o'clock till evening 6 o'clock. His name is Karl Marx. Even today, nobody dares to go and occupy that chair. Marx, everybody knows, a man of history, but nobody knows, his love for or his passion for reading. So, my dear friends, let me tell you, why is it important? What do we mean by reading? Reading is nothing but, interacting with the best minds of yesteryears or best minds of our times. A book contains the crystallization of the best that has been said and taught in the world. So, when you read a book, you expose yourself to the great minds of yesteryears or great minds of our times. So, what are the advantages of reading? When you read, you become critical of your own self. In other words, reading inculcates or enhances your critical thinking. In fact, our ability to think critically differentiates us from the rest of the species across the world. Way back in some 2,500 years ago, there was a gentleman in Europe. His name was Socrates. He once declared, "An unexamined life is not worth living at all." We, as human beings, it is our ethical responsibility to be critical of not only ourselves, critical of everything around us. So we should be critical. We shouldn't blindly accept whatever is sent to us. There are guys, whatever message or whatever video which they receive in WhatsApp, they trust it, they believe it, they uncritically accept it and embrace it. And we have seen the havoc caused by such messages or videos during the COVID times. It could be dangerous. And there are people who rely solely on their knowledge gained from WhatsApp messages. And we call them graduates from WhatsApp University. Unfortunately, this is the result of conspicuous absence of critical thinking, and you become critical, or when you are exposed to a great book, or when you are exposed to great writers, unknowingly you inculcate within yourself this ability to think critically. So this is a great advantage of reading habit. Then, if you read, you will automatically become liberal and broad-minded. By and large, we are conservative in nature, but when you read, when you expose yourself the best minds of our times, automatically you will come to know about the different ways of thinking, different kinds of cultures, religions across the world, and you start respecting all those cultures and traditions. I always tell my students, that if Osama bin Laden were to read Shakespeare or Dostoevsky or Ramayana, he wouldn't have thought in terms of destroying those beautiful Twin Towers in New York. Because when you are exposed to great minds, you become compassionate, you become empathetic, you become liberal and broad-minded. Only Kupamanduka, frog in the well temperament, that makes you insular and that makes you dangerous also. So, reading exposes you the great thinking across the world, across human history. And thirdly, and more importantly, through reading alone, you enjoy the magic of language. Look at our language, ordinary language. It's very ordinary. It is, uninspiring, so to speak. But when you read a great book, take for instance, Dickens. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was an era of it was an era of greatness. It was an era of foolishness. It was a spring of hope. It was a winter of despair. This is how he narrates French Revolution. How beautiful it is. There is magic in language. When Valmiki saw a hunter killing a bird, he exclaimed, "Manishara pratishtam tvamadamaha shashvati samaha yat krauncha mithanadekam Avadhi Kamamohitam. What have you done, O hunter? You have separated two lovers, and you will not prosper for these reasons. And my dear friends, that was the beginning of another magic, another great magic called Ramayana. So, birth of Ramayana, it happened in an inspiring moment, witnessed by sage Valmiki. And whatever came from his heart, it took the shape of poetry. And therefore, Ramayana is magical. And therefore, Ramayana is beautiful. And it is true of all great classics, whether it is by Shakespeare or Tolstoy. All happy families are alike, but each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. This is the opening line of Anna Karenina, the Greek novel written by Tolstoy. Or let me give you another example, opening line of Albert Camus' Stranger, which appeared during the time of Second World War. My mother died yesterday or today, I do not know. This is the first line. When Stranger was published in 1939, entire Europe, it sat up. Not 1939, 1941 also. Entire Europe was startled, and they understood. Because, Second World War was so devastating, and it was so absurd that people had become so numb, and the numbness of the narrator here, or the protagonist here, who says, my mother expired yesterday or today, I do not know. This sentence reflects the numbness of the entire generation. So, we become sensitive to the language used in any great work of art. Well, let me caution you here. Read anything. Don't focus on your own subject. For instance, most of you are commerce and business management students here. You may read all the 100 or 200 books in your subject. That's okay. But there is also life beyond commerce and management. Expose yourself to beautiful works and don't discriminate. My iPad contains more than 1,000 books, and it contains books related to history, sociology, astrophysics, which is my favorite area, okay, and many other areas. So, no area is untouchable for you. No book should be untouchable for you. And if you focus your attention only on your area, that is called monotrack reading. Your reading should be multi-track one, different areas, different subjects. I'm a teacher of literature and literary theory. I always tell my students that unless you understand Albert Einstein, you would understand my teaching on literary theory, because both of them are abstract. Plato, who is considered to be the father of Western philosophy, he had an academy. Outside his academy, there was a board. And what was written on that board? Those who know not mathematics need not enter. Remember, Plato was a philosopher, but he wanted everybody to know mathematics, which is, all of you know, the mother of all science subjects. So the point is, a student of medicine should read literature. Similarly, a student of literature or commerce should know what's happening in the field of science. One shouldn't be ignorant. So, you should have a reading which should simultaneously happen on multi-tracks. Well, let me tell you, also remember, you shouldn't be carried away by reading of books. Okay? We read. Why? Because we want to know ourselves. We want to know human beings. Books are important because human beings are also important. So when you are reading, remember, your brother or sister, she may come to you. She may need your help. Okay? You cannot say, or you shouldn't say, no, I have no time, I'm busy reading. Give time to your family. Give time to your mom and your dad. Tomorrow you may have your own family. Give time to your children. That is very important. Well, always remember, we read not because we want to accumulate knowledge, but because we want to understand ourselves. We want to, if possible, transform the world. Gandhi was a great reader, but he wanted to transform the world around him. And therefore, we revere Gandhi even today as a walking saint. So the point is, reading shouldn't be an end in itself. Reading should lead to some change, either within you or, if it is possible, if you can change the people around you, that's fantastic. So reading should lead to some kind of transformation, some kind of transcendence, and that is the purpose of reading. So thank you. I thank Mr. Shetty. I also thank Dr. Walsh for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts with you all. And congratulations again to all of you here. And I wish